So, when I ask, what is Odoo? What comes to mind? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But some people also say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. I mean, whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, I guess Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it. Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
NASCAR on Prime kicks off this Memorial Day weekend with one of the crown jewels of racing, the Coca-Cola 600. 600 miles, 400 laps. This is where legends are made and heroes are honored. And for the first time ever, you can stream it on Prime. See what it takes to finish first. Don't miss the Coca-Cola 600, Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR. It's on Prime.
Hey listeners, this is Mike Morford, co-host of Missing Persons. While you're waiting for new episodes of the show to come out after the holidays, I'd like to invite you to listen to this special preview of Silkwood. In November 1974, 28-year-old Karen Silkwood was on her way to Oklahoma City from Crescent to meet a New York Times reporter. Her mission? To blow the whistle on a billion-dollar nuclear industry company. As Karen drove down a dark and desolate highway, important documents about safety concerns at the facility where she worked beside her, her car veered from the road and smashed into the wall of a concrete culvert. Before anyone found her, Karen died at the scene of the single-car crash. Silkwood is a multi-part podcast that intricately examines the life of Karen Silkwood, the nuclear behemoth that she sought to expose, the government's role in potential wrongdoings, and ask the question, what actually happened on that cold and windy November night 50 years ago? Did Karen fall asleep at the wheel? Did she die for what she knew and she was on her way to expose? Was it an accident or something far more sinister? I'm about to play a clip from the podcast Silkwood. While you're listening, subscribe to Silkwood wherever you're listening now or on your preferred podcast app. Here's the clip.
On Wednesday, November 13th, 1974, a breeze rumbled off James Mullins's red flatbed truck as he made his way up Highway 74, traveling north from Oklahoma City, a town where oil companies extract crude from pools deep beneath the earth. The wind carried red clay dust that blanketed the road and powdered the truck's windows. This vivid red clay, a product of Oklahoma's iron-rich soil that covers over 1 million acres of the state, is a defining feature of the landscape. Ahead of Mullins lay the tiny town of Crescent, home of the Crescent Tigers, the Hub Cafe, the Ted Sebring Ford dealership, and the Kerr-McGee plutonium plant, a billion-dollar titan of nuclear energy. This scene was familiar to Mullins, who had been navigating Highway 74 daily for the past few weeks. He was intimately acquainted with the landscape that stretched between Oklahoma City and Crescent, pump jacks dotting his eyeline, the rolling pastures, endless wire fencing, the dense woodland hardwoods, and towering pines. Mullins's teenage brother-in-law, Dalton Irvin, was asleep next to him in the cab. Mullins's boss, John Trindle, was a quarter-mile ahead in his pickup truck. About 35 miles north of Oklahoma City, they passed the Kerr-McGee factory, the lights of which caused the trees that obscured it to glow slightly in the night sky. Approximately 1 mile beyond the facility, and roughly 7 miles south of Crescent, Mullins sped across a concrete culvert. As he did, his headlights pierced the darkness, revealing a reflection in the ditch to the left of the road. As a former wrecker driver, Mullins instinctively sensed that something wasn't quite right. His extensive experience on remote and desolate highways had attuned him to the potential for trouble. Mullins glanced in his rearview mirror, confirming the road was clear before pressing his air brakes and gently guided his rig onto the shoulder next to a small drop-off. With a quick flash of his headlights, he signaled to John Trindle that he was pulling over, then carefully backed his rig toward the ditch. As the flatbed's beams illuminated the gully and adjacent pasture, a partially obscured white Honda Civic came into view. The car was precariously tipped onto its left side at the mouth of a concrete culvert. He was lucky he saw it, Mullins thought to himself. He stepped out beside the culvert, his gaze drawn to the ground where scattered papers fluttered in the breeze. A sudden gust of wind snatched the papers from the ground, curling them into a swirling vortex that skipped across the mud and water until they once again settled. Mullins' boss, John Trindle, had made his way back, but he didn't stick around long. Upon the realization there'd been a car crash, Trindle raced in his pickup truck to a gas station payphone a mile away and called the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Irvin, Mullins's brother-in-law, crawled out of the cab and walked over to the edge of the culvert. He called out into the darkness, but no one answered. Grabbing a flashlight, he carefully navigated down the steep bank. The crumpled front left side of the white car caught Mullins's attention. Just a few feet in front of the vehicle, an abandoned woman's purse lay against a concrete retaining wall. A delicate arm extended from the window of the wrecked Honda Civic, moving back and forth as if motioning for help. Irvin approached. He saw a shoulder, neck, and face, but the woman made no response to his shouts. He soon realized her lifeless arm had been swaying in the breeze. The other arm was draped over the woman's face, her head rolled to one side. The sole occupant lay motionless and broken in the black seat, blood already dried on her still features. They were too late. She was gone. From the creators of Gone Cold, Texas True Crime, this is Silkwood, a story about corporate greed, government cover-ups, and a woman's mission to expose the deadly secrets inside a nuclear industry titan. I'm your host, Erica. Soon after John Trindle left to call the authorities, Kerr McGee employees Fred Sullivan and Law Godwin arrived and began investigating. Godwin was a supervisor in the quality control department of the plutonium facility, and Fred Sullivan, a document control manager. Both men carefully descended the bank into the ditch to examine the vehicle. Godwin shone his flashlight into the car and discovered the same grim sight that Irvin had found. A woman slumped motionless in the driver's seat, seemingly trapped by the steering wheel pressing against her, her face bloodied. Like Irvin, Godwin could detect no signs of life. He said he believed the woman might be a Kerr McGee employee. Unaware someone had gone for help, Law Godwin instructed Fred Sullivan to go summon the police. Sullivan raced to a nearby farmhouse to alert the Guthrie police, while Godwin remained at the scene. When James Mullins's boss, John Trindle, returned at 8:15, he found Oklahoma Highway Patrol Trooper Rick Fagan, an ambulance from the Guthrie Fire Department, and Guthrie Police Officer William Clay already there. Together, Trindle, Trooper Fagan, and the paramedics worked to lift the 1,638-pound Honda upright. Using a power tool from his truck, Trindle was able to cut open the car door. The police officers watched as the ambulance crew carefully extricated the woman from her wrecked vehicle. They then rushed her battered body to Logan County Hospital a few miles up the road. She was declared dead on arrival. At the hospital, a search of her pockets revealed a collection of items: $8.69 in bills and coins, a blank check, a business card for Dr. Charles Sternhagen, a few pills, a Mickey Mouse pocket watch, used tissues, and a Kerr McGee employee badge bearing the name Karen Silkwood. Back at the scene of the wreck, Oklahoma Highway Patrol Trooper Rick Fagan surveyed the crash scene. Fagan was wet behind the ears. The rookie had only handled fewer than 50 accident investigations in his 5 months on the job. Trooper Fagan looked inside the smashed Honda Civic. The glove compartment contained a plastic flask, the car's title, and an estimate of prior damages. In the back seat, a plastic bag held used sanitary pads and a couple thin stacks of Kerr-McGee Oil Chemical and Atomic Workers union bargaining papers. He also found a hat, raincoat, spare tire, jack, and wrenches in the rear hatchback. Trooper Fagan gathered the scattered wet and muddy documents from the ground around the car and tossed them onto the front seat. Trooper Fagan then picked up the purse, which had flung from the vehicle in the wreck. He handed the wallet inside to Guthrie Police Officer William Clay, who claimed to know the victim. Officer Clay advised Trooper Fagan to contact Kerr-McGee's personnel director, Roy King, to notify Karen's next of kin. Rummaging further, Trooper Fagan discovered a small notebook. The final entry read, "Try to reach a contract by November 26th. Meeting again Thursday, November 21st. Also in the handbag were 2 rolled cigarettes that resembled joints, a pill, and half a tablet, all of which he planned to have analyzed at the state crime lab.
I hope you enjoyed that preview of Silkwood. Remember, search for Silkwood wherever you listen to podcasts and hit the subscribe button now.